Welcome back to the Portland Masters. This is a 12 noon squad. Joining me for a little bit is Blaine Weninger, back-to-back Masters champion. Blaine, Corey got lined up early. Eric got lined up early that match and looked like he moved in a little sooner than you. And great run, first, and fifth place the last 3 years. You've got to be proud of your achievements.
This is an awesome tournament. It's the best tournament we have around here. It's the hardest tournament to win, best field, and it's an honor to bowl with these guys. These guys down here are really, really good players, and I'm fortunate to have gotten some breaks and done as well as I have. So it'll be fun to watch these next couple matches.
2 minutes, fellas, 2 minutes. Practice remaining.
And what sort of equipment choice did you make in that final match?
Earlier today, I tried to play way in with trees, and that didn't look real good. So I watched Corey Husted's match, and he really had a good look from out with surface. And I knew that Eric Jensen wouldn't play out. So my thought was, you know what, I'm going to try to play out like Corey did and maybe give myself an advantage. And it worked for 4 frames.
And I'm noticing right now in the warm-up that Dean is kind of toying with playing the outside line like yesterday. And right now it looks like he's playing a track. He's just kind of testing the waters a little bit. Do you think that Dean will choose to play the down and in outside line, or do you think he's going to move in like the rest of people?
He's going to go in. I really think he will. You've got to be so pure from out. And from everything I've seen, Corey's the only one that's got a magic trick to play out there.
And that ball he's using, it's probably a Columbia bowling ball, I'm guessing, that he's throwing, that kind of greenish ball that has surface. Do you know what ball that is?
I think it's a Marble S. I think it's actually a storm ball.
It's a storm ball.
I think so. Now Dean just threw one from out again and struck. It'll be interesting to see. I think, obviously, Dean's got the pedigree, and he's probably the favorite in this match, but because it's on the fresh, I give Bogner a really good chance. If it was later in the day, I think Dean would have the advantage, but with it being on the fresh, Bogner, you gotta be careful. That guy's good. It's not a guy you want to mess around with.
And wasn't that just unbelievable yesterday? Kurt Bogner, who is normally thought of as a down and in type of player, playing 7th arrow his final match yesterday to win that match. That was just phenomenal to watch.
It just shows how versatile these guys are. And like I said, Bogner's kind of a little bit under the radar, but that guy's a player. He's not a guy you want to be messing around with.
And let's not forget that Kurt Bogner won $100,000 in a mega buck tournament in Las Vegas. This guy is no stranger to winning big tournaments.
Yeah, there's no easy. When you get this far in this tournament, there is no easy outs. You're going to have to throw it really good and get some breaks.
And so our vantage point this match is a little bit skewed at the low end of the house. We have Eric versus Corey in the losers bracket, way down in 3 and 4. And so you will only hear their shots. We're featuring the 2 undefeated players. Kurt Bogner steps up in the first frame, and he leaves a pocket 4-9 to start the match.
What's really great about this format and the 3-game matches is in a 1-game match, a split like that can really hurt because you only got 9 more frames. When you got 30 frames, you got time to come back from a bad break. So early, hit the pocket.
Now, I know that you've had success on some national stops. Even though you didn't win a spot this year, are you going to pay your way into the Masters?
No, sir.
I know that the expenses can be astronomical. Do you have any idea where they're holding the Masters next year?
I have no idea. It'll probably be Jersey, Reno, or Vegas. I like to save my vacation time to go to Mexico and spend it with the family, not bowling. So.
Well, I know you have a very successful career and job, and you try to balance that with bowling and the family life. And I know that free time can be at a premium sometimes. And Dean has opted for playing the outside line, and really throughout this match play portion of the tournament, Dean has really been the only one who has played the outside part of the lane consistently until late yesterday.
And And Corey's been out there quite a bit today too. It might be a good strategy because the track's funny. You can grind 2 O's out, but if you're looking to shoot a bigger number, that's probably where to go.
And Corey trips the 4-pin down there in lane 3. And Dean's first shot, swishing 7-pin. He had a good reaction outside. Kind of made a last-minute decision, threw a couple shots inside, rung a 10-pin, and moved back out to the edge of the lane. Now, is Dean able to take the out of bounds out of play by playing straight up the outside like that? Obviously, there's not much belly involved there.
He's just really good with his angles in the front part of the lane, so he's able, a lot of guys want to spray the ball in the front a little bit. His direction's so good, he can play in and play. It looks like he's playing in on 9 and out on 10.
Yes, he's playing 2 totally different lines here. In a very cerebral move early in the match, he's able to differentiate on the pair between the 2 lanes. Obviously,
and that's crazy because the 3 years I've bowled here, I've never seen a pair that drastic. But obviously, he's seen something that we haven't, and the first 2 shots look pretty good. So.
And back in the day, I bowled a match against Tim Myers at Milwaukie Bowl where I had to throw 2 totally different lines, 2 different balls on a pair of lanes, and sometimes we have to do that. Wood lanes have a tendency to have a little more variation on this pattern versus a synthetic pair of lanes.
Bogner's right in the track and 1-2-8 early. It's so easy to do that. They're just so touchy.
Yeah, you just throw it out there and you pray not to leave a PBA washout or something. You want to leave something makeable. And right there was a good example. He's got a pretty easy
And he
spare.
probably missed, a board and a half to the right against the head pin.
And Eric misses a 9-pin after starting with a double against Corey. So it looks like Corey has a spare and a string. Eric has a double and an open. He left a 9-pin and missed it. So now he's going to try to double and take an early advantage.
I tell you what, his looks so good from there.
And he told me earlier that the reason that he switched away from that ball was simply he didn't like the feel of it in the second game. And he said, my hand just felt better. I went back to it. Wow. And the OB is really affecting Bogner right now. He's not quite out as far as Dean. Dean's playing really straight up for his arrow area. Blaine, a lot of people wondered where you went for so many years. You were a really good player back here in the 80s and 90s. How many years did you live in Texas? And that experience for you, did it help your bowling quite a bit?
I was in Texas 10 years. And yeah, it helped me a ton. Their bowling down there is fantastic. Great players. Tons of Hall of Famers. Learned pretty quick that if I wanted to bowl down there, I was going to have to work on my game or quit. So I decided to work on my game, and it paid off. I tell you what, up here in the Northwest, we've got some really, really good players here too. The young kids are just they keep coming over. I keep seeing new kids. This Tyler Cruz, I've never seen him before, and he threw it great. There was another kid last night, I can't remember his name.
Tanner Spacey.
And that guy, boy, he threw it great.
And Dean comes a little light and leads an 8-10, and so he's got a little bit of a lead here, but it would have been nice to get a mark there.
You got between Dean and Eric and Corey down here, man. Corey's a little older, but these guys are good. These younger kids are just they're tough.
So is there a touring player in the Texas area that you befriended and got a lot of knowledge off that helped you elevate your game before you moved back to the Pacific Northwest?
Chris Barnes and I practiced at the same bowling center, and we got to know each other pretty well and practice quite a bit. And that guy is the best bowler I've ever seen.
And he's a technician of the game, always fiddling around with weight blocks and hand positions. He's a master of his craft. For sure.
It's just amazing. Wes Malott lived about 15 minutes away from me also for a while. A lot of people give Chris Barnes a hard time and don't like his antics on TV, but you get him away from the bowling center, he's a really good guy. He's just, one of those guys that just really wants to win at no costs. And
Sometimes the confidence comes out as cockiness, and really it's just his passion for the win.
yeah, when you're that good, you can be cocky. I think. He's just that good.
And we see Eric down in lane 3. They're still throwing the Diva Pearl. He sent that one wide and left. It looks like 1-2-4. Didn't quite see if that was a washout or not. Looks like it was a spare. It was a spare. So he's got 77 in the fourth frame. Dean covers the double wood, maintains a 14-pin lead.
This just shows how touchy they are early right now. And Corey looks like the only one that's got control of the pattern. That's why I really think he can win this.
And Corey's averaging 225 for all of his matches, and he is the highest average. He's averaging around 220 for all his matches. These two right here are really the only two averaging that high. And Corey looks like he might have left the big four there.
Great church.
Was it good church?
Just as I say, how good his ball looks.
Well, he's probably trying to avoid the OB in that range. It's like bowling in a phone booth. He's like, I don't want to miss out, so he set it a little short.
That's exactly. It's just like bowling in a phone booth. That's a perfect analogy. Throw it a board and a half right, it misses the head pin. You pull it a board that does that. I mean, it's just.
And it can make it really hard to get loose.
They'll open up eventually, but you got to survive this. And Dean's letting Bogner hang around for now.
And we could have another match here where like 590, 6-0 takes the match. We saw that yesterday where the lanes were very touchy. Not necessarily a high score is needed to get the win.
My wife just texted me and told me to speak up, so.
Well, we have a super high quality equipment here at the Masters. And Corey gets a wally strike down there. And Kurt continues to fight it. He tried to stay away from the OB there, set it inside his target a little bit.
And that spare he left the 3-9 is about dang near impossible to make on this. I mean, it's
right, because if you try to hook it at it, you're near the OB line. You want the ball to drive into the 8, the 9 pin, but coming in at that angle, that's kind of where the oil line is, where the ball can skate right by.
Shot.
Covers it nicely. Eric down there with a perfect shot. He's got 97 in the fifth frame. And I don't have my binoculars, but I'll go down and see what Corey has. Corey has a 5-pin lead in the sixth frame.
Looks like Dean's changing balls on the right lane.
Really committed to that outside line on lane 10. Great pitch.
That looks good. Interested why he's not playing there on the left lane.
I was thinking the same thing, and maybe if he makes another shot inside on 9 and doesn't read correctly, he might just jump outside again, playing both the same. It looks like Eric left a 4-9 there.
Yeah.
And
4-6 or 4-9.
My apologies. They're about 8 lanes down, and I got a pole in the way, so I may not get the leads just right. Dean has opted to stay in on lane 9. He's going to try one more time and see if he can get the ball to face up.
Surprised to see that ball hold, but it did. It's a good sign.
Yeah, he was nice at the bottom, didn't force it. And Corey saws out the light hit. Taking advantage of Eric's open. And we've seen this in all of Corey's matches where he gets out to a large lead early and he's able to mentally take a break in the middle of the match when he's up by 90, 100 pins. That's not good either. Well, it did. So your regional experience, how many regional titles have you won in the Southwest region, and how many have you won in the Northwest region, Blaine?
I won two in the Southwest region, 4 seconds, and I've only won one since I've been back up here. I think I've got 5 or 6 seconds. Problem is you've got Brian Smith and Chris Warren bowling every tournament, and those guys are just a cut above everybody else.
And doesn't Chris Warren have nearly 40 regional titles?
Yeah, he does, and Brian's in the 10 to 15 range, and as good as the Portland Bowlers are here and at the Masters, we're very lucky neither of those two guys are here because they're world class bowlers, those two guys.
And none of us will forget when Brian Smith won the Masters, his first national title for $100,000 in Reno. He went front 7 on the show.
Yeah, and now he's better.
And the thing is that Brian had to take a break. His wife came down with lupus, and he did the right thing and stayed home, took care of his family. And we now see Dean playing the outside line on lane 10.
Wow. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Eric posts a good shot at lane 4. Coming back off the open frame. Looks like Corey has a 33-pin lead in the 8th frame.
That's a huge break. That ball could have got 6 real easy.
We've seen a lot of 2-8-10 combinations today, and
that's a really good sign though, because you could hear him say, "Uh-oh, he got it right," and it still only left a 2-pin. That tells me he's got a little bit of a misroom there, and he's obviously got the right strategy on this pair.
Yeah, it's really interesting how he picked up on the differential between 9 and 10. I worked here as a youngster, and I used to practice on this pair, and this pair always had a slightly different back-end reaction. Maybe it's the same thing these days. It's the same wood lane beds.
I would love to talk to him and find out what he saw in practice, because it's 2 different releases, it's 2 different swing planes. It's 2 different ways of bowling. It's really hard to duplicate during a match.
Corey coming up in the 9th frame off screen here. And Corey goes through the face. Looks like he left a 3-6-10. Meanwhile, Bogner trying to stay close here. Going for a 3-bagger. And he rolls the 2.
Break.
We see a lot of the light hits trip forward here on the 2-pin.
The sidewalls here are so lively, and the flat gutters are good, and a lot of off hits will carry.
And Kellogg and Milwaukie are notorious for those really active, bouncy walls. And a lot of people cover the 7-10 split in these 2 houses more often than others.
I think the cut number for this tournament would be 20 to 30 pins lower if the sideboards weren't so active. I think it gives guys a couple hits a day, easily.
Let's see if Kirk can take advantage here.
That's
a
great
decent
shot.
Oh, and he swishes the 7 out with the 5. And that's the equalizer right there. Catching the break and then taking advantage.
What's huge in this format is you can be down, but if you put 3 or 4 up against your opponent, especially on a tough pattern like this, pressure can really get to guys. People say there's no offense or defense in bowling. Well, if you put a string up there, it definitely makes your opponent think.
Teeing up on lane 10 now, 9th frame. Perfect shot.
That looks so good.
Meanwhile, Corey carries a light mixer. First shot at the 10th. He's a potential 217. And he nails it. Eric, on the other hand, has 125 through the 7th with a double, so Eric has a potential 215. So Corey kind of putting the heat on Eric here in the 10th frame, making him stay close. Dean coming up in the 10th with the inside line on lane 9.
Oh, wow.
And we haven't seen any solid 8 pins. I have not seen one yet.
That's the second one I've seen in 2 weekends.
Yeah, isn't that something? Because when you bowl in this center and it's on the house condition, you see a lot of solid 8s for righties and solid 9 for lefties. And Corey finishes with a 212. And Dean with that unfortunate 8 pin, very untimely in the 10th frame. And it seems like a solid 8 pin always follows a strike. And that's the most annoying thing when you throw it that good. And it has to cost you 20 sticks. And Eric goes Brooklyn in the 10th. That was Eric's opportunity to actually take a lead going into game 2. And stood up a little bit on it. Left a 6 pin. Dean on the field shot now. Ooh. Like it was in a little bit there. 205, game 1.
That was a great game. And what, he missed the pocket once for 2-0. Man, it was a well bowled game. Didn't get much out of it.
And we see you have a lot of games like that where you won't make any errors, you cover your spares, shoot 2-0, 2-team, and stay out of trouble.
That's huge. Just don't get buried. Give yourself a chance at the end to, make a couple shots. Happened against Trees this morning. I didn't really do much, but at the end I was able to put some strikes together and finish it off. And Bogner makes a great pitch, leaves a swishing 10, and he could have got the lead there, but it looks like they're going to be within a mark going into the next game. Bogner's lined up. This could be a really good match.
And Eric shoots a 193, so Corey has a 19 pin advantage going into game 2. And Kurt is another player who just flattens his hand out on his spare shots, allowing him to not have to use plastic equipment on his corner pins. And our feature match has come to a conclusion. We have Dean Richards, 205, and Kurt Bogner, 199. Dean will enter match 2 with a 6 pin advantage. Eric begins match 2 with looks like a two pin. Okay. Kind of hard to tell if there's a 210 there. Dean shreds the rack. Kurt flirts with the OB and pays the ultimate price there with a washout.
Nice.
And Kurt, being the great spare shooter he is, covers that washout. And it looks like that Bogner is kind of trying to emulate Dean. Looks like he might be playing in a little more at 9. What do you think, Blaine?
Maybe a little bit, but he's in the same area, I think.
That was a bad break right there.
Yeah, it was.
Corey leaves a 4-pin.
I think Corey's putting that ball down now.
Yeah. And he did that the second game of every match today. It's really interesting. I don't know if it's a feel thing or Dean really got that one out.
Yeah, that's the thing about playing out there. If you pitch it just a tiny bit right, it will not sniff the head pin.
And yesterday he was throwing a ball, and this morning he was throwing a ball with surface in practice out there, and that's the ball. This ball here has a little more polish on it. It might not be as forgiving if you miss it right.
Looks like Jensen made a ball change. He went away from the curl and caught a nice break there.
Yeah, and that's for a double, and that's like 20 pins bonus right there.
It's fair. That's no picnic on this.
So many of us know, Blaine, that you've been very successful at the USBC National Tournament. When are you going down this year? Who is on your team?
We are going the end of June. I bowl with a group of people that I bowled juniors with 30 years ago. Most of them don't bowl hardly anymore except nationals. But we have a great time and we enjoy the camaraderie. We don't have a chance to win, but we just have a really good time bowling together. The good thing about our team is that everybody knows how to play the lanes, and we end up making them pretty good. Great shot by Dean again. I mean, he's throwing it really well. It's just he can keep up with the transition and get some breaks.
And Eric left the split down there. Yeah. Almost bounces it out on lane 3. And Kurt makes a ball change and hits the OB again for another washout. Let's see if he can pick up another one. Just check down there. Corey has a 44 pin advantage right now on Eric. Looks like he's going with that ball again.
Well, that ball really checked up early.
It looks like he might have just left a 2-pin or 3-pin. No, it's a 3-10. It's a baby split. Our vantage point is skewed here. We're about 8 lanes down from that match. And Kurt throws a backup ball at the washout and almost picks it up. The interesting thing is he threw a regular release for that last pickup.
Corey makes the baby split. Big shot. Saves a mark. I think he's leading in that match. It looks like. Can't tell, but it looks like he's definitely leading this game, I believe.
Yeah.
I can't see.
Eric had a couple opens.
Bogner needs to get something going, or this match could get away from him. That ball hooked right off his hand. Wow. That lane looks like it could be the key to the match. Dean's in there too, so it's going to change a lot faster for Kurt than the right lane.
Corey goes runaway Brooklyn. It looks like heads are starting to get really fried down there.
It almost, Brian, it almost makes me wonder if Dean chose to play two different lines. It's almost going to force Bogner to see a large difference in the pair because he's the only one playing the track on 10, but yet he's going to have to follow Dean's transition on lane 9. So Kurt also is going to see a lot bigger swings on the left lane.
So it's almost a defensive move. He's strategically making the lanes break down differently.
It makes you wonder if that might have been the strategy. I don't know. I'll have to ask him when he's done. But if it was, that's a gutsy move.
Eric really lost that one at the bottom of the swing. He carried a runaway Brooklyn. We're seeing a lot of crossovers down there on 3 and 4. Yesterday the scores were quite high on 3 and 4. And it's kind of interesting how they're struggling down there because almost all of our high-scoring matches were down there. Mike Karch had an 843 yesterday. That looks like a really good shot. And it checks up.
Straight up the lane. And that's the problem with playing there. As soon as that little spot in the front burns up, you can't just move like 2 and 1 left and throw a little right. You're going to miss the head pin to the right. His next move is going to be, 3rd, 4th arrow.
So he may opt to move in on that lane inevitably. And Eric trips out the 4, 6, 7, 10, trying to guard against going high. Very difficult.
Good shot. Terrible break.
And just like Bogner, he makes a great shot at the spare and doesn't quite get the corner out on the slide out. And so looking at this match right now, Dean has an overall lead of 9 pins through 14 frames. It looks like Corey left the big 4. Boy. No, 4, 6. Yeah.
Brooklyn for a double and then 4, 6.
Those guys are just begging in the pocket down there. And it's just been part of the lanes checking up so violently. Hey, Dean playing in on the left lane again. Let's see if that shot holds up for him. Seems to be his better lane right now. Oh, and kind of a bad break there.
Wow.
That could have easily been a trip 4.
Tell you what, Dean's made a lot of great shots and got absolutely nothing for his effort for the first half of this match. It's kept Bogner close. Let's see if he can keep his cool and keep working, because he's definitely not had any good things happen to him so far.
And Dean just goes for count there. It's early in the match, not trying to give anything away. Meanwhile, Corey opened down on lane 4. He's coming up on lane 3. And he labels it beautifully. First pocket shot we've seen in a few minutes down there by either player. Bogner standing a little bit further right on lane 10. He pulls a Sean Rash. He balks.
There's no fines here, though.
Yeah, those fines in the PBA are a little bit stiff.
Especially when those guys aren't making any money.
I agree 100%.
Oh, wow.
Oh, and what a great shot. 10 pin. And players are really haven't earned their strikes right now.
I liked what I saw out of that ball.
And it looks like he kind of like tried to play in between the two lines. Eric goes Brooklyn again. Looks like Eric and Corey both are in the 190s halfway through the match, 7th frame. 195 clip for Corey, 193 clip for Eric. Kurt covers the channel. And Kurt playing a little further in on 9, and the ball checks up again. Currently in this match, Dean Richards has a 1-pin advantage halfway through a game and a half of play. Corey with a 22-pin lead currently.
Oh, so he's still ahead in that match, even with all the bad breaks. Wow, okay. Jensen's gotten some good breaks this match, keep him close.
Yeah, he seems a little bit lost down there. You know, when he lost the line with Diva Pearl, he had a great look with that ball last match, but he's way at the other end of the house now on the fresh. Really interesting how the pairs break down totally differently at different ends of the house.
I really that ball just sailed a little bit.
And he's seen that look good off his hand.
I don't know that he can stay out there.
No, I think it's a big gamble. Like you said, it looks good early, but everything just changes so rapidly. And Corey goes to the face again. He stomps in frustration as neither player is able to.
Greek Church again?
Yeah, neither player is able to overcome the mid part of the lane that checks up so early.
Pressure of the situation. The pressure of the situation and the fresh oil patterns, that's what makes Sunday in this tournament so difficult. Saturday, they run them once in the morning, they break down, they hook, but guys can find something to throw it to. Sunday's a whole different animal in this tournament, always has been. That's why the scores are so much lower.
Hey, well, Dean had a really bad break last time on this lane. See if he's able to recover from back to 3 open frames in a row.
Yeah.
Oh, great shot. He's going to get the messenger on the 9-pin. No. And Blaine, I saw this happen to you earlier where you threw a 4-bagger and the lanes just went away and you went open, open, open. Same thing. Great. I mean, these lanes can trick you.
This place transitions so fast because of the surface. And with the lane pattern we're bowling on, it just magnifies it this week. Got to really be on top of your moves. That was a great shot by Dean.
Oh my! And he almost flags the 9-pin. And like you said, Dean hasn't had one good thing go his way in this match. He can easily be up by 30, 40 pins.
That first shot, he threw it really well, but I mean, I still think he's another 2 or 3 left off. But that ball did try to go early. And you can't move 1 or 2 boards. You've got to make big moves.
And once again, Eric goes through the face, just not able to put anything together. A little grind out match right now on 3 and 4.
Both matches are grind out. I think we've got 1 strike, 2 strikes in this match we're watching right here.
And that's through 13 frames. The 2 undefeated
Bogner just changed balls.
Yep, and he leaves a bucket. And right now, as much as Bogner's struggling, he's got nothing to worry about. He's got a 6-pin lead. Staying clean is monumental right now.
Dean and Corey have been the two dominating bowlers this weekend, and I think if you're going to get either of these, especially Corey likes it fresh, but if you're going to beat Dean Richards, you're going to have to build the lead early, because I think when these things start to mellow out, he's going to start striking. So Bogner needs to take advantage of this if he wants a chance to win this match.
And he hits the hang again. And that's the quandary the bowlers are in, whether to shoot straight at the bucket or to hook it at the bucket, because the ball may not hook. And, I noticed that you, Blaine, like to shoot very straight at those spares on the left side of the lane during a difficult lane condition. You just like to play. You don't try to cross too many boards on those spares.
I don't want to be a slave to what the lane's doing. I want to take it out of play.
Both players going at a 166 clip here. Two undefeated players in the Portland Masters.
Boy, look how early the ball hooks, and that's a great shot, but boy, that lane definitely's hooking more. No doubt about it. Eric Jensen with a big double right there. Doubles are at a premium right now.
And if Eric fills the 10th frame, he has a 200 even. Corey has to strike out for 199.
Both these matches are going to go right down to the wire here, it looks like, going to the next game.
Very fortunate to have back-to-back Masters champion Blaine Weninger coming in, helping with the commentary. We really appreciate it, Blaine.
Dean just made a move. He just went into the track like 11-12, and that looked really good.
And you were anticipating that move based on his last couple shots on the side.
He couldn't stay there. And we're changing balls in the left lane. Dean's making moves now.
Eric finishes strong with a 199. Now Corey has to strike out to tie him this game. Okay, Dean on the lane he's been lined up on. Let's see if he's able to perform here. Looks like he's getting another ball change. Going to the DB8 Pearl, is that what that is?
Oh my God.
Lord, he almost didn't carry the 9-pin and he didn't even realize it. Yeah. It looks like that might have been a pretty good move right there with the ball change. He hasn't thrown that ball this match.
Yeah, I figured a big change was coming, and looks like he made the right decision. Corey with a huge strike. Wow.
That man's on a mission.
He is. After last year, you can see it in his eyes.
Now, you bowled Corey last year in the title match, correct?
Yes.
The year before, who did you defeat?
Scott Halverson. Yeah, that right lane. Oof.
A lot of people anticipated Halverson to be one of the favorites, but qualifying versus match play, a different animal.
It's a completely different tournament.
He comes out and shoots 530 his first match. He just had a bad draw, and it doesn't matter if it's the same oil pattern; it's a different format.
And he's a great player. Halverson's another guy. I mean,
Corey carries the wall shot light,
and the man is on a mission. I'm telling you, I've seen it in his eyes all week. After last year, he was really.
And Bogner,
that's a great spare by Bogner.
Covers up the 210 split with a backup ball. This guy is a wizard, trick shot maker, and that's what it takes. Guy won $100,000 in Las Vegas. I'm sure he had to do a few tricks in those matches to get through them.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Corey, I don't know what it is. The kid is on a mission, and I really think something just tells me deep down he's going to get this done today. Yeah, boy, those are three huge shots.
And Corey and Eric tie 199 that match, so Corey maintains a 19-pin lead going into the final game.
That's another good shot by Bogner. He's going to have to get the right lane, though. good stuff.
Yeah, these matches are exciting. We had some blowout matches earlier, and we all love to see a close match that comes down to the 10th frame. It's just so exciting to watch. I almost feel like I had to pay to watch this. It's so entertaining.
Hey, Brian, let me ask you a question. Maybe you can comment on the Duck Dynasty beards we have on lanes 3 and 4 down there.
Yeah, it appears that Corey is an avid fisherman, and on his Facebook, he likes to do hunting and fishing, a true outdoorsman like his Uncle Steve used to. And Eric trips the 4-pin right there. The Northwest is known for that alternative look, and we have a lot of cold, cloudy days.
I'm older and grumpier. I'd like to get them both a razor.
Well, you know what though? If you saw Corey, he actually got a haircut for this tournament. He was looking pretty shaggy there.
You call that a haircut?
Well, at least he still has his hair. He's enjoying it.
That's a good point. That's awesome.
So Kurt,
I love those guys. They're cool.
Yeah. So Kurt finishes with a 166, and Dean
can really get control of this match.
It'll be interesting to see if his previous move where he migrated in a little bit to the track is going to hold up on the shot. This is a key shot.
Oh boy, this is a huge shot because he can take a 36-pin lead in the last game if he can pull a double out here.
And I suspect he's going to make a good shot here.
Whoa.
And another Sean Rash incident just occurred. That would have been about $1,000 fine in the PBA.
Brian, I did ask Dean right before the match if he rated Thomas Alt Jr.'s wardrobe with those styling white pants he has on. Let us know that those are the only clean pants he had. They look pretty good though.
Right, but in Thomas's defense, Dean did wear his pajamas and win a 7-gamer earlier this year. He wore pajama pants at 4 Seasons.
Good shot.
Wow. And he packs a 9-pin. Now, didn't Dean leave a solid 8-pin earlier in this match?
He did.
Yeah. Wow.
But you know what I'm seeing right there? Even though that is a great shot, it was. I believe, you got to move off that 9-pin. You can't stay there. You got to make a move off of it. Great pitch though. That's a rough break.
And what sort of micro adjustment would you make right there?
I'd go 2 and 1 or 3 and 2. I mean, that spot burns up so fast. If you stay there, you might go 4-9 next shot. Boy, I tell you what though, nothing good happened to him that game. Still got the lead though. I mean, that's all I can ask for.
Eric finally found the pocket there, went kind of Wally 7-pin. And Dean Richards finishes the 174 to Kurt's 166. And so Dean will take a 14-pin lead into the final game. 379 for Dean, 365 for Kurt. Kurt up in the first frame right now.
I really think Dean's going to shoot 220 this game. Kurt's going to come up with something.
Great hit.
Dean's getting so close. I think he's ready to shoot a game. Kurt's going to have to bring it.
And really, Dean is due for an off hit to carry. I mean, I'm ready for him to trip a 4 or something because he's really had to pay with some bad breaks.
I think Jensen might have just washed out down there.
And he's guarding against going to the face. He's had a multitude of face shots that really
6-pin washout.
seeing this again. Undefeated players who average 220 and they hit a tough pair, and 590 looks good.
That's a great shot.
And he just saws out the 10 pin.
He made the move we were talking about. That ball pushed.
And Eric looks like he may have covered the spare. Can't see if that was a washout.
No, he missed it.
No, it was a washout. Okay. Not able to see the 10 pin from our vantage point. We're a good 8 lanes down from lane 3, so we're blocked. Dean throwing the Diva Pearl, and he tugs it.
I guess that's a good break.
Yeah, if he would have left the 510 there, I would have said he was cursed.
Yeah.
He didn't deserve any more bad breaks.
He really grabbed a hold of that one.
It looks like a double bounce in the front too.
Yeah, he got it on the upstroke, and you don't see Dean Richards make very many bad shots, but we're all human. But he makes he makes so many good shots. It's rare to see one that's a little off.
And I mean, he's got to be the sentimental favorite here. Dean dealing with the passing of his father this week.
Yeah, Dean. Yeah, that would be a big deal for him, obviously, with his dad. Obviously, Corey being, his family's house, and last year, I think those are the two guys that, a lot of people are pulling for.
And a lot of us probably would just take time off, but Dean's probably making the right decision, bowling, and keeping that off his mind, what just happened in his personal life. And
that's what he is. He's a bowler. Don't let your life can't stop. Corey just run a 10, I think. Bogner. Uh-oh. Great shot by Kurt Bogner. Take double and cuts the lead to 4. Keep talking about Dean, but I'm telling you, Bogner's crafty veteran. He knows what he's doing. Not a guy you want to mess around with. And, due to some bad breaks, Dean's kept him in the match.
And Triangle Bowl, they put out a lot of the kegel patterns, and they practice on them up there, and they experiment on Friday nights for their King of the Hill once a month with a very difficult pattern. Sometimes the cut score to make the King of the Hill is 50, 60 under for 2 games.
That's pulled.
Brooklyn, and he carries it.
Brooklyn. You can see Dean's reaction. That's after what's happened to him.
And I mean, that's the whole reason why playing in is better on this, because if he misses, he may catch that Brooklyn, where if you're playing up the twig, you're probably not going to get that.
I'm noticing something. The left lane is on fire in the front. It's already hooking. Dean has to finish on that lane.
That's a disadvantage.
That could really turn into something later.
And once again, Dean goes light and does not get an easy spare. He leads the 210. Looks like Eric has a couple opens. Eric's down by 42 now. Dean goes for it, misses them all. So
this is kind of a surprise. There's a lot of frames left, and I don't think I'm going on a limb saying Dean's the most talented guy in the field. I mean, these guys are all talented, but Dean's got a little something extra. But he's going to have to dig down and throw some strikes here.
Eric went to the Diva Pearl in the left lane, dead flush. And the good thing is if Dean does lose this match, he can regroup, and he's still alive in the tournament. So he still can pull it out even if he loses.
Absolutely.
Diva Pearl.
That lane is curving.
Faces up early, and it's kind of interesting. Almost simultaneously, 4 pairs apart, we see Eric and Dean go to the same bowling ball. Corey continues with the same ball that he started the day with. Wow, man. He gets A nice break there, just leaving a 4-pin on a high hit.
How much was Corey ahead going in this last game?
Corey was ahead by 14 pins. Corey was ahead by 19 pins, but Eric had a couple open. So right now, Corey has about a 40-pin lead with 6 frames remaining. So barring a big run by Eric, he just needs to stay clean. I think Eric's still having some trouble with that right lane.
This left lane on this pair we got here is no picnic.
And he can really put his foot on the throat of Dean right here. And he looks like he tugged it. Yep. You can see that off his hands.
Did hold it. Yep. Got a good break, only leaving the 3-6. Didn't pay the penalty. So, makes the spare here. He's up 30 this game, and he'll take a 15, 20 pin lead 6 frames to go. Good spare.
And Kurt being very cerebral, throwing a backup ball at that spare.
If you can do it, that's a good play.
It really is. Really a lot less chance of chopping it. And right now, Kurt has an 18-pin advantage on the 3-game match.
Corey just makes the 3-10. This is huge. Eric is on a strike, so Eric can make some hay here if he can double. That ball's dead.
That's Brooklyn again. And he doesn't carry it this time.
Great break. 5-pin. That lane is.
Right now we're seeing Eric come up on the lane. He's really had some trouble on him as of late. And this shot here is.
Don't be surprised if. Watch Eric here first. Oh, stone 9.
Wow, and that was a great pitch on a lane that he was not sure about. And Kurt almost misses a 5-pin.
They look really, really ugly.
And you can say no one misses a 5-pin. Well, I bet you could miss one on this shot.
I left a couple and I was throwing my straight spare ball at him.
I'm sure Corey likes seeing that 9-pin right there with Eric. He didn't want him to get on a late run.
That looks like a good shot. It just jams up. Wow. Dean has completely lost this pair. I'm really surprised. I really was expecting a big game from him this game.
And in warm-up, he looked really good, too. And there was some sort of transition that happened right when they started.
And the transition has been brutal all weekend. It got me multiple times.
Eric up on his good lane. Didn't quite see if he carried that. I think so. He did. And so now we talk about how huge that solid 9 was just now. That cost him 20 sticks. And easily could have a turkey and put some pressure on Corey. But
I wonder if Dean's going to opt to start lofting it over the gutter from what we've seen the last 2 shots. Is he going to make a really big move in? Which is kind of crazy considering they've only bowled 2.5 games on this pair. But that left lane looks completely fried.
And he's at the point right now where he's really got nothing where he's at, so he may experiment with that.
I mean, I don't see Bogner giving anything away. Dean's going to have to get 3 or 4 in a row to get into this thing.
Wow. And Corey carries a Brooklyn down on 4.
No, none of the 4 players are lined up at all. This shows how tough they are right now.
It looks like Corey has a 39-pin advantage with 3 frames to go. And we see Dean go wide.
That ball, and he
almost backdoors for a strike, leaves a head pin, and it looks like he got a little fast on that one.
Just completely lost. Boy. What's that? If that. if you're lined up right, you might have 2 ports. We were just talking about the 5-pin. Dean just threw a spare ball at the head pin. That's how squirrely they are right now.
Yeah. Like Corey's making a ball change on the spare here. Like he normally does.
Corey,
plans it
you
out.
know, I think Corey and Bogner, if they can fill frames, they're going to be in really good shape to win their matches.
And Blaine, how do you feel physically after the last 2 years? Bowling last year was grueling, and the year before. On Monday, were you hurting after those wins?
The first tournament I went all the way through the winners bracket, so I only had 6 matches. It's 18 games. It wasn't too bad. Last year I went the long route. It was 33 games and 11 matches. Monday I felt okay at work. It was Tuesday where I really was hurting pretty good.
So it's like the swelling of the middle-aged man took effect after a few days. A little ibuprofen there.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I'm too old for this bracket anymore, I think.
Oh, you got a lot of game left in you.
Great spare by Bogner.
I hope
frames.
I hope that we see you do some senior tour action. Hopefully they still have it when you turn 50.
I just hope I'm still alive when I'm 50.
And right now we see Kurt has a 33-pin lead in this game and a 19-pin lead overall.
And Jensen here can get the 3-bagger over there and really put some pressure on Corey if he can strike here. Likes it.
And he looks like he may have left a 10-pin.
Yep.
Solid 10.
Wow.
And that's really unfortunate because he just boned a 9-pin on the other lane and it comes down to breaks with that.
Look at this shot.
Great shot by Kurt.
Bogner's got let me go down and check on the Eric Corey match real quick.
And we see we have the senior player, Kurt Bogner, amongst these 3 youngsters. And he's coming through. His experience is paying off. Eric misses that 10-pin, and that's probably all she wrote in that match. Eric bowled great that game. He got no love. Solid 9-pin on a strike. Double slam 10-pin.
Okay. I think I'm missing the 10-pin. That Corey needs a mark in the next 2 frames.
And Dean's playing outside again. And he finally gets a break on the 4-pin. Dean had to wait 28 frames to get a break. 27.
So let's see, Bogner 30. So Bogner's up about 20.
And Corey looks like he just wrapped up the match down there. So Corey's going to advance.
And Dean's changing balls again on the left lane.
So Corey's probably going to meet the loser of this match, I believe, in front of us. So
here's a and Dean's going to the right.
He's going to go outside. This is the ball he used yesterday.
Wow.
Great shot. Great shot. And he's got a little fire in his eyes right there. And that's what I was talking about. He had a great look with that ball yesterday. It's got surface on it.
Tried to put the little psych on Bogner. Bogner's not the kind of guy to hoop it up. He lets the ball do the talking.
That's right. Very composed. Never gets stressed.
It's a really good shot here.
Looks like he tugged it a little bit.
And a great shot by Kurt Bogner, and he just comes back calm, cool, collected.
Very soft at the bottom of the swing. Didn't put his hand in it.
Dean tried to get in his kitchen with the hooping it up, but Bogner stepped up and made the pitch.
It may work against some people, but Bogner, with his laundry list of experiences, he wasn't going to have any of that.
This is huge. They can just about shut him out here. Pretty dang close. I think. Well, Dean's got the 14-pin lead.
So right now, Bogner's up by 19 at this moment. So if he leaves a 10-pin and Dean strikes out,
that looks good too. Wow.
Beautiful shot. Beautiful shot.
pressure bowling. Kurt Bogner with some humongous shots.
And he's in the zone, and you got to hand it to him. He's bowling against Dean, who's been averaging higher the whole tournament.
And Dean made to Dean's credit, he made a ballsy move on the left lane and peered it and struck. And that can rattle some guys, but Kurt just stepped up
and Eric congratulates Corey on his great run. Eric is out of the tournament. Wonderful performance again by that young man.
For Dean to have any chance, he's got to strike on the shot. I don't know if that's going to hook.
And this match is over.
So Bogner advances. He wins the winner's bracket. And the next match is going to be a blast because these two guys are not afraid to show emotion, Corey and Dean Richards. And neither's going to back down. And this could be...
And he goes two-handed, Oscar Palermo style for the spare.
This next match is going to be a blast because these two guys, I know they're friends, but they're going to try to tear each other's throats out. It is going to be a great match.
And Corey finishes with a 607, and normally you're like, not a very good set. He won, no problem.
Wow. Kurt Bogner.
Eric finishes with a 566, so Corey wins by 41 pins.
Dean just left another solid 8.
Yeah, Dean got no love there, and maybe karma will come back to him in the next match. Maybe he'll trip a key hit to win the next match because he got no love this time.
And Dean didn't get some breaks, that's true. But I tell you what, that game Bogner just bowled was a hell of a game. He went up and took the match away. So, still alive. 3 guys still in it.
Yep. Well, hopefully we can talk you into staying, Blaine. It's been excellent doing the commentary with you this afternoon.
I want to see this next match because it's going to be hooping and yelling and screaming, and it's going to be great bowling, buddy.
Great bowling. We're proud of you, Eric. And Bogner is academic at this point.
But now Bogner is fortunate enough that whoever wins the Corey Richards match, they got to beat Bogner twice.
So you did that for a win, didn't you? Your first one, didn't you? You had to beat Corey twice last year.
Corey last year twice. I'm kind of pulling for Corey a little bit after last year. I know how hard how bad he wanted to win, and it was shoot, he's such a great kid. I'd love to see him win, especially in his home house here. That'd be awesome. He just looks like a man on a mission. He just really does.
Okay, thanks. Kurt finishes with a 231. And so that's the conclusion of this round. And next match will feature Dean Richards versus Corey Husted. The winner of that match will face Kurt Bogner and will have to beat him twice in order to take the title down from him.